now, experience the vibrant color, rich culture, and grand pageantry from the world's largest Portuguese feast in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade, and it's next. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is brought to you in part by Explore New Bedford, by Milestone Mortgage Solutions, Justino's Madeira Wines, the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, and Sociable.
Hello and warmly welcome everybody to the vibrant colors, the wonderful food. It's all happening here in New Bedford, Massachusetts at Madeira Field as we celebrate the world's largest Portuguese parade and festival. I'm Phil Paleologos along with Paul Santos, and we are celebrating in Portuguese style today.
No question about it. This has become so huge, as you said, and it all started in 1915 when 4 immigrants from the island of Madeira came to the United States. They set up shop here on American shores, and they wanted to recreate the excitement and the pageantry of the feasts back at home. And that's how it all started, and look what it has grown into.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people watch the feast at various locations, the parade, and you can see it from just about anywhere. But right here at the feast grounds, to be able to see the parade go by and then grab your Portuguese food, the great delicacy of the Portuguese heritage, the carne spit, the caçoila, the malasadas.
Yeah,
it's all right here.
People don't know what it is.
Right.
If you're viewing us in Arizona,
right,
malasadas is the most delicious fried dough with sugar. Caçoila is beef that is marinated. And we have lots of other things that are so tasty here at the Portuguese Feast. Coming up behind us, we have New Bedford's finest.
Right, these parades always begin with the police. They're getting a nice cheer. They're blowing the horns. They're running their sirens, and they're jumping right in with this great vibe at Madeira Field.
It's a one-of-a-kind event. It is the world's largest Portuguese feast. It has been years and years in the making. And this isn't an easy event to take place with. It is so much fun. All of the people here, Paul, there's just a lot to be said about the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament.
And look at those 2 cute young kids riding in the back of that police car. I'm sure they're really, really enjoying their ride right through Madeira Field. You know, you mentioned the largest Portuguese feast in the world. It's also the largest feast of any kind, ethnic feast, in all of New England. So it's got a few things to brag about, no question about it.
That's right. And this is a one-of-a-kind that was built mainly because of hard work and a lot of sweat. In 1915, when the first beginnings had their rootings here in New Bedford, and it has grown from there, it's all because that one generation and another generation lending their hands, making sure the tradition and the customs keep going on from one to another. We are going to be welcoming dignitaries, but right now, the parade marshals are being honored. Manuel and Dorita Freitas. They are the parade marshals for 2024.
Get ready for a non-stop celebration. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is just getting started. The parade continues to light up the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament and the streets of historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Now right here we have the folkloric group. Let's take a listen. those songs, dances, and costumes presented by the group date all the way back to the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. Imagine that.
Absolutely. These dances are, some of them, centuries old, being passed down from village to village, of course, with all that happened with the people going around the globe. The culture and heritage of the Portuguese people has really manifested beautifully in New Bedford, Massachusetts, a fishing community and one that attracts a lot of people of Portuguese ethnicity and heritage.
100%. People come from all over, and not just the Portuguese people. People of all backgrounds come here and enjoy the pageantry of the feast. And we're just finishing up, and now we got the feast committee.
And here we go. We have the president of the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, Tony Abreu. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for having us on.
You bet. What does this all mean to you?
We're super excited to be here. It means a lot to everybody in the crowd. All of our new members are very excited to be here.
That's absolutely wonderful. Have the cheers been loud for you?
Yes, they have. We're very happy to be here.
And many, many more. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you.
Good luck, 2024. Good luck.
Thank you.
Tony Abreu, the president, 2024 of the 108th Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. Boy, you could hear the excitement in his voice. You only get to be the president once, and you really got to make the most of it. And Tony Abreu has done an outstanding job here in 2024, no question about it.
There's so many traditions handed down, Paul, and some of these have already been represented around the globe. South America, Brazil, North America, Europe, all over the world. But New Bedford, Massachusetts is we can brag about this, the largest, beautiful Portuguese feast in the world. And that is truly a great event for New Bedford. And any of you viewing all over the country, you are missing out on a true gem here on the south coast of Massachusetts, the home of the Portuguese feast.
Well, look at all the festeiros and the festeiras walking by there. Not only Tony Abreu, the president, you had Vice President Paul LeConte, Treasurer Aaron Taylor, Corresponding Secretary Cameron Peace, and Recording Secretary Justin Gallagher, and more. And you're noticing something, there are women festeiras this year for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yes, they were just voted this year to add women to the feast committee, and so they are proudly out there. And not only that, there is a direct descendant, a daughter of one of the 4 immigrants who founded the feast. Because she was never able to serve as a festeira, she gets to be a festeira this time.
That's right.
And her name is Maria Lourdes Coutinho Peixoto. Her father was Manuel Coutinho, who was one of the feast founders, and because they added women,
honor.
She gets to do it this year, so congratulations.
Absolutely, once in a lifetime honor, and thank goodness she is around to celebrate as you are, ladies and gentlemen. All of the colors and the food. Can you smell the foods? What kind of food do you like the best?
Oh, I like the carne spit.
Oh, what is it?
It's the Portuguese tips, steak tips that are beautifully marinated in Portuguese flavor. You can't beat it.
There's a certain seasoning the Portuguese are famous for. It's rock salt, but it is seasoned. And when this rock salt goes over these cubes of beef, it not only tenderizes it, it turns out to be tender and flavorful. It's a wonderful, wonderful event here at the feast. Plus, we talked about some desserts. What else do you like to eat?
Well, obviously the malasadas, we mentioned that before. As you said, people watching across the country and around the world, they're so happy that you're looking in today. But yes, the malasadas, it's kind of like a fried dough type thing, but it's prepared in a different kind of way. And it's got all that sugar on there, and it really gives you a good boost.
Let's go back to Meredith. What you got for us?
We're having fun making the best malasadas in the whole wide world at the biggest wonderful feast of the whole wide world.
And making these malasadas is a labor-intensive process.
I would say so, because you have to mix all the things together. You have to let it rise, and then when it's ready, you pat it down, you take it over there, then they stretch them, make them a nice shape, and then bring them through the fryer sugar them and hope that nobody's got diabetes.
They look pretty good, and I mean, I think you're the most popular area at the whole feast.
We hope so. We really make an excellent product.
I mean, I might have to try one at some point.
Please do. I hope you will, because they have a little flavoring to them that the other ones at the other end don't have. So the two Malasadas booths are wonderful in their own right.
I mean, hey, if all of these people are a testimony
Yes.
to how good they are, I'm going to get in line right after this.
Okay.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
How many
tastes so
of you
good.
know what favish beans are, huh? Or how many of you have ever taken a taste of Madeira wine? This wine is as much a part of American history as it is Portuguese history. From what we understand, they were toasting with Madeira wine at the Declaration of Independence, ladies and gentlemen. That is an honor.
Get ready for more dazzling parade magic from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts, as we celebrate the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade. The parade continues to light up the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament and the streets of historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
This is an endeavor that does take city and state sometimes, and just a real mix of help. This is one of the greatest events, and it comes together with people helping one another. The city being, of course, one of the biggest contributors in terms of making the city of New Bedford available.
He's waving at us right now, Representative Tony Cabral. Hey, Tony, great to see you. And we're getting ready, of course, for Mayor John Mitchell. So proud to be the mayor of the city of New Bedford on a day like this.
Look at it this way. As mayor, he is going to greet people who have come from Europe, from other parts of the globe, here to his hometown.
I see Ian Abreu. He's another member of the city council. Look at that young man right there, huh? Talk about passing the tradition along.
Traditions start in the home. Thank goodness these traditions are carried on, and you can see how many people have lined up. There must be 100,000 who come to New Bedford every year for this event.
Well, they've calculated it, and yes, over 100,000 people come into New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's a city of about 100,000 people. It's along the south coast of Massachusetts. I'd say about an hour from Hyannis, if you're familiar with Cape Cod, about a half an hour from Providence, Rhode Island, about an hour south of Boston. And the summers along New Bedford, second to none. I mean, if you want to come up to New England in the summertime and celebrate here at the #1 commercial fishing port in all of America, this is the place to be. Beautiful cobblestone streets downtown, the feel of the city, the vibe, and it all happens right here at the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament.
It's a beautiful fishing town, a port. I'm not sure, but I did hear that some mermaids were spotted off the coast. We'll have more on that as we broadcast all of the love and all of the excitement from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. On your screen, you see all of the energy as the parade comes through the feast grounds, and there you have some winners in more ways than one, folks.
That's right. Every single year, the Club Madeirense Sacramento Charitable Foundation presents up to 30 $1,000 scholarship awards to graduating high school students. Proud recipients of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament $1,000 scholarship awards. Congratulations to them.
And Paul, whenever we hear about the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament and all the money they must make, the money that comes in goes right back out into the community in ways like Paul just mentioned: scholarships, charities, making sure that if something needed to be done, they do it with the monies that are raised here at the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament.
Next up will be the Museum of Madeira Heritage. They built a building over there that, you go inside there, so much art, so much pageantry, and you see still the award recipients going by.
I've been through the museum a few times, and every time there's a new experience. when you think about the history of Madeira, of the sailors back in the 1400s, this museum brings together the artifacts and the history. It has some of the most beautiful things that you'll ever see.
Look at those guys. They're toasting to what looks like Madeira wine. I can't prove it.
Indeed.
I can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, but it looks like Madeira wine to me. But you know, the Museum of Madeiran Heritage was opened at the start of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament back in July of 1999, and it's the only museum, that's right, the only museum dedicated to the history and heritage of the islands of Madeira that lies 600 miles southwest of Portugal.
Let's go back to Meredith. What you got for us?
You know, Phil and Paul, I took a trip to the Madeiran Heritage Museum and it was awesome. Visitors can explore exhibits featuring traditional artifacts, handcrafted wickerwork, and vibrant folk costumes. Historical photographs and documents highlight the contributions of Madeiran settlers to the region's cultural tapestry. During the annual feast, the museum offers enchanting performances of fado music, a soulful Portuguese genre that captures the essence of Madeiran culture. The museum also hosts various cultural events, workshops, and lectures, providing an enriching experience that honors the Madeiran community's enduring spirit and contributions.
The rhythm of the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is still going strong. Stay tuned for more music, culture, and joyous moments as we continue. Welcome back to the dazzling Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade, live from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. The festivities are in full swing.
For those of you who have never heard of Madeira or the Azores, look it up because this is a gem 600 miles off the coast of Morocco that is so pristine and gorgeous. You have to check it out, folks. And a lot of that tradition has come here to New Bedford, Massachusetts, the seating of the Blessed Sacrament. This is a festival that has been going on for many, many years, and everybody in New Bedford is so proud of it.
Next up is the folkloric group, Madeira de Club Santissimo Sagrado Sacramento. That was founded in 1979 by Ms. Dulce Reese, a native of Madeira. She also immigrated to the United States in New Bedford, where there resides one of the largest communities of Madeirans rooted in the United States, in order to promote and preserve the folklore of Madeira in this country. So they are going by right now and getting a nice ovation from the crowd.
Do you speak Portuguese?
Unfortunately, as a third generation, I am full-blooded Portuguese, but third generation, and unfortunately, my folks never spoke Portuguese in the home. My grandparents did, and that's one thing I have to confess. I should have put a little bit more effort. I took it in school, and I took it 3-4 years in a row and was speaking it really well, but unless you use it all the time, unfortunately, you lose it. But I'm very proud of my Portuguese heritage, that's for sure. I think it's culture. I think it's pride. I think it's looking back at the history. When you think of those 4 founders, they were both named Emmanuel, so that's why they refer to them as the 4 Mannies. They were all named Emmanuel, and they came here, they set up shop, and then passed that tradition down to their kids, and then their kids, and then their kids. So that's how the tradition started.
Right now, we're going to go where the parade action is, and I understand that Justino Wines is there. First of all,
Yes,
hello
sir.
and welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Doing great. What
I'm
does
here with
all of this mean?
Yes, I'm here with Julio Fernandez from Justino's Madeira. He's here from the island of Madeira. And of course, we're the importer, Sociable Enterprises, and we want to welcome everyone here to the feast. And yeah, it's a great time today, Phil.
We have
Fred Saraiva, how did you become the sole importer, from what I understand, in all of the United States? Is that true?
Oh, we go way back, all the way back 40 years now that we've been importing for the feast. And it started with my father way back when, and we just continued on. So, yeah, it's been a long time.
This feast is the only one that gets the barrels coming in. I was here one day a couple of years ago when those barrels came in, and I had some the other night. And
we're going to see those barrels being tipped. Thank you, Fred, so very, very much. Justino's wine. I know it's hard to make a really good wine.
Right.
Thank you so much. Sariva Imports, thank you for being here and part of this great celebration. Meredith Gorman is there on the parade route and has a lot going on down there. So, Meredith, take it away.
Thanks, guys. We're here at the Madeira wine section of the feast. It's a pretty important part of this feast. What is your role here at the wine stand?
Well, I've been serving. My grandfather is a founder, so we've been around all my life. And our role here is to make sure we keep everything stocked up, we keep everything going, and keep it flowing for the entire feast.
Now, a lot of us here are wine fans. What's the best part of Madeira wine that makes it so tasty?
It comes from an island filled with love, and it's just a different kind of processing they use. When they toast the Declaration of Independence with it, that it's something special.
And you mentioned you've been coming to this feast for many years now and being a part of it for many years. What's your favorite part of the feast every year?
Favorite part is this entire booth is made up of family. And every year we spend a whole weekend together of family working together, and it just draws us all in. Both daughters, my mom is serving, she's the first festeda, and both daughters are on the committee, my sister-in-law, my niece, and it's a great moment for us as a family.
And these look like some pretty nice pours for people that are looking to buy a glass.
Well, absolutely, we try to make sure you get the best.
It's delicious.
Very smooth, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Get ready for a non-stop celebration. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is just getting started. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is brought to you in part by Explore New Bedford, by Milestone Mortgage Solutions, Justino's Madeira Wines, the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, and Sociable.
Next up in the 108th Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade, the Discover Language Academy. It's located in downtown New Bedford. The academy started in 1920 in New Bedford and provides skill development and training opportunities in language acquisition, cultural understanding, and career education to achieve personal, professional, and vocational goals. And the director is Carla Rocha Gill. So congratulations to her. Great to see her in the parade.
You will be the next student.
Well, you never know.
Maybe.
That could happen.
The Rosetta Stone? You know, folks, it is very, very important. If you have a second language in the family, speak it at home. Speak it at home. Make sure the kids get these traditions and customs. Otherwise, just like my buddy here, Paul, you're not going to get the richness of your ethnicity. So think about it. They forced me to go to Greek school, and even though I rebelled against it, I'm glad they really did make me do it. All right, from here, Paul, we're going to go back out to the parade route. We have
Azorean Maritime Heritage Society.
That's right.
That's a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to promoting Portuguese culture, shared maritime history, which is why you have a ship out there, and unique boating opportunities for all ages. It's an all-volunteer organization, and many local events teaching rowing, sailing, maintenance of wooden Azorean whale boats, the one you see on the screen right now. And they even host, Phil would love this, a popular annual wine and food tasting. And they also have scholarships too. I just love that ship. That was awesome.
As you can see, the Azorean people have sailed the oceans since the 1400s. And we have so much culture and history here in New Bedford because of the explorers back then. They brought a lot of wonderful beauty to the shores of New England here on the south coast of Massachusetts. We're in New Bedford, historic New Bedford. That's the home of the world's largest Portuguese feast parade.
Currently, there are only 63 Azorean whale boats in the world, and these that you saw here on the screen a moment ago, they're the only 3 in the entire United States. So how about feeling special for a moment, huh? We're going into Division 2. We have 5 divisions today, and this is the Senor de Padre Band out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Let's take a listen.
All right, Phil, next up is the Prince Henry Society of Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
I wanted to mention something about this because my dad, Jesse V. Santos Sr., was a charter member of the Prince Henry Society of Massachusetts. My brother Mark has been heavily involved over the years. Very, very proud organization. They give
What
out
does
scholarship.
it do? What's its mission?
They try to keep the Portuguese culture moving along. They celebrate the Portuguese culture, the Portuguese history, not just Azorean or Madeiran, the Portuguese culture altogether. And of course, a lot of people coming from the Azores. My dad originally from Agua de Pau, which is a small island out there. And so a lot of the members here continue that tradition. The Prince Henry Society of Massachusetts started small in New Bedford and has grown all over New England.
Absolutely, Paul. What an honor all of them are for carrying the tradition. And you know what else we see, folks? Different colors, you know, the dancing costumes, each one representing a different village or a different place. The Azores, for instance, is not the same as Madeira. They're separate, and by about 600 miles. So next time you take a look at Google, take a look at some of the most beautiful islands. It's an archipelago off the coast of Morocco. And if you've never been there, this is the time to start looking and feeling some of this tradition that we're sending your way with all of our very best wishes, celebrating the feast of the Blessed Sacrament from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. The very finest New Bedford firefighters join us here at the Madeira Feast. These are the heroes who put their lives, just like our police and EMS and all of our first responders. They think of us first. That's their job, to protect us first. And for that sacrifice, we thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
And we have Miss Massachusetts coming down here and riding in the Feast Parade. We're so happy to have Miss Massachusetts down here participating. Hey, if you're Miss Massachusetts, you represent the entire state. Well, you're certainly not going to miss the largest Portuguese feast in the world. And there she is. She's waving at our camera, so that's a good sign. Thank you very much, Miss Massachusetts. Yes.
For the scholarship program, a lot of folks are not accustomed to saying the scholarship program, but this is not a beauty show. It's a scholarship program.
Well, and look at the children. You're talking about passing it down to the next generation. I love seeing the kids. Because you know what happens when they grow up? They're going to remember, hey, remember when you took me to the parade? Remember when you took me to the feast? Most people started coming with their family.
You know what the highlight of the parade is for a kid that age? The candy that's being thrown out from the vehicles. Emma Gendro has long been recognized as one of the leading people, young people here in Massachusetts. Welcome her now in her official title, Miss New Bedford 2024.
I had the great opportunity to meet her several times and to interview her a number of times. What a classy, well-spoken, articulate young lady. And she loves being Miss New Bedford. She goes to all the festivities. She shows up at all the events. We also have Layla Johnson, Miss New Bedford teen, and I had a chance to chat with her too. Same thing, articulate young lady, class act, great representative of New Bedford.
You betcha.
The fun isn't stopping anytime soon. Keep watching as the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade keeps the festivities going from the Madeira Feast Grounds in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. Welcome back to the dazzling Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade, live from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. The festivities are in full swing.
They made the trip down here to be part of this great parade. They were founded in 1992 by Portuguese immigrants and descendants as a not-for-profit organization focusing on the preservation of the Portuguese culture and tradition. And the group has performed in its 26 years in numerous festivals all over the country: New York, New Jersey, California, all around New England, and last but not least, Portugal.
And we might be shown in some of the areas, especially Arizona and California. As you see here, the beautiful, colorful dresses and wonderful music. Let's take a listen.
You know, Phil, that group is comprised of 40 or so volunteer members that make up the committee. They have dancers, they have singers, musicians, and they range in ages from 5 to 70 years old. So start young, work your way up, and then you can learn the tradition, the dance, and the presentation of this folklore group.
Do you play an instrument?
No, but I do sing.
What's that?
I do sing a little bit.
No, do you play a musical instrument?
No, but I use my voice.
Oh, maybe you'll sing along, huh?
It's a work in progress, Phil. Yes, and look at this. The Nossa Senhora dos Anjos out of Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Our Lady of Angels Association. And again, just a quick reference to my dad. My dad's father, which would be my grandfather, Jesse Santos Jr., he grew up in Agua de Pau out there in the Azores. And he came here, of course, to the United States. And it was my dad, myself, and my brother. And they always used to have us go back to the Our Lady of Angels Feast in Fairhaven, which is like this, not as big as this, but like this. And it's the same thing, just keeping that tradition going. A wonderful, wonderful event on Labor Day weekend.
What is the attraction?
Well, because when you go there, and I know that it's my family, and it was my grandfather that actually grew up in Agua de Pau, and we get to sit there and feel the music, and a lot of the festivities are similar to what they had back on Agua de Pau. You know, it just brings back a good feeling inside that, wow, this is my flesh and blood. And my father always told us that when we went to that feast. Again, that's Labor Day weekend in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of New Bedford.
And there is the group Folkloric, and they have so many. They are from New Bedford. They have so many great fans. They've been around for years and years. Let's take a listen.
Well, you know, if they toast the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America, there's absolutely no reason why Phil and I can't do a toast right here at Madeira Field. So there you go, Phil. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. They brought an ice cold from the Santana house just a moment ago, just for us, Phil.
The best blessings. What's it taste like?
It's sweet.
Very good. It's sweet. And here, as we see from Erica Carrera, ladies and gentlemen, from one of the surrounding towns around New Bedford, Freetown, Massachusetts. And here's Miss Freetown Queen, Livia Charis.
Looks like in Freetown they decided to have both of them riding together.
And there's Miss Lakeville's team.
Absolutely.
Glad to see all of these pageant winners coming down here and participating in the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade. This is the 108th feast, which began back in the year 1915. And there is the Miss Lakeville team.
We have another Miss North Shore, who is Hope Anderson, who is joining us here. Look at that. Thousands of people on a perfect, beautiful afternoon celebrating the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament here in New Bedford, Massachusetts. If you're viewing from outside this area, come on over to Cape Cod. You are looking at Miss Cape Cod right now.
Phil, they're coming from far and wide. We've got Miss Massachusetts team, Miss Cape Cod, Miss North Shore, Miss New Bedford. They're coming from everywhere to be part of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. Why not?
I was chatting with the couple, and I said, what draws you here? And she said, the wine. I said, oh, that's interesting. Where are you from? Connecticut. So you're right. They come from all over to come here. This is a very special weekend, a whole 4 days of festivities. Also, keep in mind, folks, that every night there's continuous entertainment, that this is all a free event. You can come in free of charge and listen to the music, great music, and of course you have to pay for your food, but this is a fabulous way to spend 4 days here in New Bedford as a destination. Right now, we're going to toss it to Meredith Gorman, who is on the parade route. And Meredith, what you got going there?
Thanks, Phil and Paul. I spent a few days at this feast here in New Bedford, and it is an incredible place filled with a lot of happy people. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament is a grand celebration rooted in deep Catholic tradition and immense local pride. This annual festival, which began in 1915, honors the Holy Eucharist with a magnificent display of faith and culture in historic Madeira field. Originally established by Portuguese immigrants to celebrate the Catholic feast day, the event has expanded into one of the largest celebrations of its kind in the United States. The heart of the feast is its festive atmosphere, where attendees can enjoy traditional Portuguese dishes. The event is not just about religious celebration, though. It's also a time to embrace community, family, and the rich heritage of New Bedford. With its roots deeply embedded in both faith and culture, the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament continues to be a symbol of unity and celebration for both locals and visitors alike.
Get ready for a non-stop celebration. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is just getting started. The parade continues to light up the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament and the streets of historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
All right, we are looking at Miss Old Colony's team, who's another pageant winner. And, you know, I'm noticing these pageant winners, you know, they're coming in classic cars. You know, they're coming in Corvettes, they're coming in Mustangs. You know, they're not coming in jalopies here. They got to ride in, like, some really beautiful cars. So it makes for a nice presentation as the young ladies ride through the Madeira Feast. You know, this Madeira wine that they brought over from the Santana house, it's ice cold, so it's going down very smoothly. I didn't expect to actually sip some wine while I was on the air. I don't think I've ever done that before, actually. So this is a first. But you know, with the Madeira wine, it's wonderful, it's fantastic. You should drink it, but you got to drink it slow.
Is that the secret?
You can't guzzle it fast. You got to go like, it's a sipping kind of a wine.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You enjoy it with dinner, and enjoy it with family and friends.
That's
You
right.
take it slow, but it's very, very good. And we're so happy that they imported in those
There
barrels
are also
only to here.
some delicious liqueurs that are Portuguese. And by the way, Sariva Imports can get you whatever you want, or at least information-wise. This guard is a militia guard, Kentish Guard, Rhode Island militia, and as you can see, and here, the muskets being fired, here celebrating the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade.
Did that catch you off guard, Phil? I think that gun caught you off guard. I think you jumped a little bit. The Kentish Guard of Rhode Island firing those rifles. And they actually are wrapping up Division 2 out of our 5 divisions today. So take a look at their presentation. Obviously, they have a whole way of marching and moving those rifles back and forth. They place them on the left shoulders, and here are the flute players.
Let's take a listen now. We have
Now-
other things going on here as well.
Yes, Division 3 has begun, and this is Dance
There you go.
Extreme. You ready for some extreme dancing? They are located in New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's made up of highly skilled dancers who are looking for a more intense technical training and to further their career in dance at a competitive level. How about that?
Paul, this is just so much fun. Look at, you can feel the vibrancy and the energy in the crowd. Folks, this is absolutely superb.
You know, this extreme dance company, they've won hundreds of top overall awards, and they are currently a 17-time national championship winning dance team. That's right,
Look at that.
national championship winning dance team. What do you
There
say
we
about
go.
that, huh? What do you say
The
about that?
confetti is blowing. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like they kicked it up a notch.
surely.
Look at the young kids. We always talk about the young kids. Look at those kids.
Absolutely.
Look at how much fun they're having. Look at them film.
We have not only children here, but grandparents. We have families. If you aren't here next year, I don't know, you ought to come here. Why don't you do this? Plan a week on the South Coast. We have some of the most pristine and beautiful areas to vacation here on the South Coast. Rather than going over the bridge to Cape Cod, God bless Cape Cod, but we have it better here in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts, hands down.
And look at those kids. Are they having a great time or what? Oh, yes. Plan a weekend up here in Massachusetts in the summertime, and people just are in a good mood. There's a great vibe. There's a future dancer right
There
there.
you
And look
go.
at these kids right here. They are just having a great time. You are an extreme dancer, young lady. Yes. Hello there. What a cute young lady.
You know, New Bedford, Massachusetts is known for the feast, but it's also known for its fishing port. And as the #1 port for scallops in America, this is an honor and a tradition that we pride ourselves on here in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Of course, before that, there was textiles and then whaling oil. New Bedford has been on the worldwide scene for centuries, and we are so proud to be here in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
And New Bedford, Massachusetts, you referenced the fishing industry, the #1 commercial fishing port in the entire United States for over 2 decades. I mean, this isn't something that happened for a few years. This has been going on for over 20 years, and it's really something to be proud of. When we tell people, hey, this is the #1 fishing port, and somebody said, oh, yeah, in all of New England? No, not all of New England. The whole United States.
That's
Come on
right.
now.
And when you come to New Bedford, we'll treat you to breakfast. Let's see, we'll have a nice local cheese roll. All right. We'll have a glass of cold coffee milk. We'll have a cold hog, linguiça or chorizo. What else do we have around here that is a specialty?
Well, I have to mention the malasadas
There
again.
you go.
Huh? I can't help it. I can't help it.
Lots of great foods here on the South Coast. And of course, this parade itself is a highlight, a celebration of not only preservation but also promoting the goodness, that beautiful energy that is emanating from this parade. The South Coast Panthers hockey.
Oh, you know, I got something to tell you about this. I feel close to the Panthers hockey because both my sons, Dylan Santos and Andrew Santos, are proud alumni of the Panthers hockey program, went on to play at Dartmouth High School. My eldest son, Dylan, served as captain of the team.
So you have connections here.
Oh, yeah. Look at the uniforms. They're pretty much the same. They're patterned after the Stanley Cup champion-winning Florida Panthers. So, yeah, the Panthers, a great way to start playing hockey right here in New Bedford. All right, let's say hello to the friendly Sons of St. Patrick. You know, I grew up in New Bedford. We had Portuguese. We had people of French descent. We had people of Irish descent. We have people of Cape Verdean descent. We have people of Greek descent. We have everybody. And, you know, we grew up with everybody, and I don't know, we all got along. We really didn't break each other down by our backgrounds. We all came together, and we enjoyed it. So, hey, let's listen to the bagpipes of the great group here, the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick.
The fun isn't stopping anytime soon. Keep watching as the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade keeps the festivities going from the Madeira Feast Grounds in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. Welcome back to historic New Bedford, where 2024's Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is still marching on. Let's get back to more festive fun and celebration.
Okay, next up we have the Boy Scouts of America, Pack 24 and Troop 24, boys and girls.
Let's go back to Meredith. What you got for us?
All right, you guys came out for the parade today. I heard this isn't your first time coming out to the feast. How many years have you been coming?
Since I was littler than him.
What's your favorite part about the feast that keeps you coming back every year?
The people, the culture, the wine, and the meats.
There's so much good food here. What's your favorite that's served at the feast?
Spit for sure, for sure.
Here is the Dartmouth High School Marching Band, one of the top bands in the entire United States. Let's give a listen. Dartmouth High School Marching Band. They've won national championship after national championship. They are the class of the country when it comes to high school marching bands. Congratulations to not only the people who run that organization, but all the kids who participate. They work so hard to win those national championships. They've gone down to MetLife Stadium in New York to win those championships, and wow, a lot to be proud of. They put a lot of work in, and it starts in August of the year before, so good for them.
Absolutely. Here in New Bedford, not only are we a National Historical Park, but we're also one of the stops on the Underground Railroad. And if you don't know what it's about, it's a fascinating history, and it's all centered right here in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Well, great abolitionist Frederick Douglass spent much time here in New Bedford. He lived in New Bedford, and they just put a monument up to him in downtown New Bedford. And if you happen to be walking in the city, there's a great monument, a tribute to Frederick Douglass. There's a statue of him and the house that he lived in while they were doing the Underground Railroad trying to free slaves to come through New Bedford. New Bedford was always a big anti-abolitionist, anti-slave location, and it's something we can be proud of in our history.
In fact, Spinner Publications has the best stories about this. And they have a book called Names on the Rocks. That's a fascinating story about a ship that was loaded with rocks. Every rock had a name on it, and it was so it would sink in Charleston, South Carolina, and become a blockade at the Civil War, so they couldn't get things into the port.
That's an amazing story.
It is. It failed them. Right now, let's hear some music.
Hold tight, because there's plenty more parade excitement just around the corner, all coming your way from the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts. The Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade is brought to you in part by Explore New Bedford, by Milestone Mortgage Solutions, Justino's Madeira Wines, the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, and Sociable.
Here comes the Chinese lion dancers. This is something that's a little different, but how entertaining.
Now, we have many ethnicities around here. Chinatown in Boston is only about 50 minutes away from here. And as an inclusion of all of the diverse customs and all the diverse ways that people have, it's a beautiful melting pot here on the South Coast.
Do you know what the lion symbolizes in Chinese culture? It symbolizes power, wisdom, and superiority. People perform lion dances at Chinese festivals or big occasions to bring good fortune and chase away evil spirits. And now, right there, you are looking at the South Coast Marching Jazz Band.
Here we are.
There's some talented musicians. Let's take a listen.
Next we have Washi World. And you know what? They do so many wonderful favors for people in the neighborhood. They're good-hearted people. It's Washi World.
Washi is a family-owned and operated laundromat right here in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Washi. It's time to Washi.
Great people.
Huh?
They have wonderful hearts.
Henry the Stilt Walker.
Now, I've never been more intrigued than when I see these people on stilts walking, shaking hands. That would be a great profession.
You know, when we're doing the parade and we're looking down as to who's coming up next, I suppose the stilt walker is easy to spot, huh?
I think so.
There he is. And he juggles while he's on the stilts. How does he do that? And I believe right now you're looking at the A&M Dance Academy. And you see those kids dancing. They offer a wide range of classes, including adult and child classes. And look at those kids. Young kids that are introduced to so many different things. One kid might want to play sports, one kid might want to dance, one kid might want to play music. And you just introduce it all to them and start them young and see what they like and let them be them.
Sounds good to me. Grandma's Donuts, Unified Baseball. And here are the athletes of Unified Baseball.
Hey, great job, guys. Glad to see you riding in the parade.
Hi.
They've managed to pile everybody into that little
toe,
and they're having a great time.
And these are the memories that they are going to carry forth. This is why it's very important that we support events like this each and every year.
like to thank Grandma's Donuts for their participation in creating the Unified Baseball League. Good for them.
You betcha. Great people.
You can see the big crowd. Look how deep it is as the Polish Americans United Association is next on the agenda.
The wonderful country of Poland is very, very proud. We have next the Polish Association, the organization that preserves the customs of the Polish people. It's a globe of different cultures here in New Bedford, as you have seen already.
Next up, the Colonial Navy Band. It's a fife and drum band. It's a form of folk music that has its roots in the military music of the American Army. It was used by militia companies in the days of the colonies through the American Revolution, all the way through the end of the Civil War. How about that, Phil?
That's great.
And look at that, they're still dressed like they're in the Civil War. But that makes it work. You got to dress up at the time that you're presenting, so there you go. Wow, look at those guys, the Colonial Navy Band. There they are.
Absolutely.
They play music from a variety of different genres, too.
When you think about how many people cross the Atlantic from Madeira, from the Azores, or from the mainland to call the South Coast home, it's a tribute to their spirit that we are honoring this celebration today. Let's take a listen.
All right, let's go down to Meredith with someone who's been involved in the feast for many, many years.
Thanks, guys. All right, so how many years have you been a part of this feast?
I've been doing this actually in this dining room and with the club and the feast for the last 26 years.
And now, what is your particular role in putting this amazing feast all together?
Well, I wouldn't say everyone has a role because we all chip in, but prior to all this, you're seeing all this, everyone chips in. We get all of the baracas together. We kind of decorate the place. If you've seen the arches on the street, that's a big part of it. We head down to Horseneck Beach over Gooseberry Island on the Sunday prior to the feast. We go in and cut all the greens by hand, load them to a big roll-off container, and then we bring it here, because this is not out here yet. And then we go with the arches and we go and decorate them, and then we hang them up.
I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous in here. I mean, this centerpiece behind us looks like it took a lot of time to make.
It does, and again, that's all the efforts put in by all of our club members, old, young, all kind of different generations.
Well, it's gorgeous. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Get ready for more dazzling parade magic from historic New Bedford, Massachusetts, as we celebrate the 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade.
Here come the Veronica Robles Marching Band. Let's take a listen.
Let's check it out. They are having a blast. The first ever female mariachi in Boston and New England region, founded by the one and only Veronica Robles. She was a mariachi singer herself, musician, and Latin American folkloric dancer and choreographer by trade.
There's the Backstage Dance Academy, and the electricity just got kicked up a few notches here, folks, as we celebrate the energy of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade in New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Adult. Look at that gentleman giving us a quick wave into the camera. We appreciate that. Nothing wrong with playing to the camera. We want you to do that. And there he is. Ah, there's the clown.
This is a good opportunity for us to also reiterate that on Saturday, the feast caters to children, and not only with amusement rides, but also specially priced foods. They make sure that the children, 12 and under, are taken care of. And then on the other side, senior citizens also have special pricing and special deals here. The feast never forgets them.
All right, let's check out the Lions Club iMobile. They are next on the agenda here at the Feast Parade, the 108th Feast Parade here in New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Now here's where I'll jump in and say my father-in-law and mother-in-law were Lions. If there's any one organization, Paul, that I lend myself to, it is the Lions Club. And it's just a beautiful, wonderful club that is always taking care of people's eyesight around the world. And I give my bow to the Lions Clubs. And
there again, we talk about passing the tradition along to the younger generation. I just love seeing kids enjoying the feast. You mentioned how Saturday is now Kids Day. They've been doing that the past couple of decades. You bring your families, you dance, you laugh. Look at those kids. They're having the time of their lives right there. And that's Steve Martins. He's the PA announcer in the background. He is the public address announcer here at the feast. He's been doing it for a number of years. He's a former city councilor, and he enjoys being the PA announcer. And the New Bedford Mobile Library. Yes, the New Bedford Library has many books. And they decided to put this mobile together and bring reading out into the community. What a great idea. If you can't get kids to go to the library, we'll bring the library to you. Great idea.
New Bedford High School, their marching band, and the proud generations that have supported this wonderful musical ensemble. Let's take a listen.
Proud to say, Phil, that is my alma mater. New Bedford High School, the Whalers, baby. NB rocks the house. That's what we used to say.
That's awesome. And let's go back to Meredith. What do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. All right, so you guys came out to the feast today. It's a gorgeous Sunday. What brought you guys here today?
Well, probably for the last 25 years, we've been coming 4 days a week. So, yeah, it's a feast tradition. We love it.
There were concerts the past few days here. Did you guys catch any of them?
Of course. We were at the Sublime cover band. That was awesome. Foo Fighters, and even last night, the girl singing all night long was amazing. So.
Fantastic.
Now, the food at the feast is really something special. I just got to try a few things. What are your favorite dishes being served here?
Ooh, Bafana sandwiches are to die for. The Bafana, woo!
That's a heated debate. Yes, the Bafana. Yes, the Caserla. Bafana, this year, the Bafana I'd have to rank that number one. I'd have to give it to it.
Malasadas for dessert?
If you don't mind waiting in the line, yes, it's worth it. But sometimes the line's just too big and the beer line's shorter, you know?
You agree?
I agree.
Thank you guys. Have so much fun today.
Thank you.
You were just listening to the high school band. Well, we have great groups that come from New Bedford. Tavares, for instance.
Right.
Internationally famous, Grammy Award winners. We have so many great artists in this area. So whenever you think about New Bedford, also think about that. And talking about baseball, we have the Cape Cod League that's only 40 minutes from here, and that is a great tourist attraction.
So a very nice tribute there to Mr. Drac Silva. In loving memory. Hey, how about that for a ride? How'd you like to drive down to Cushman Avenue in that baby? Those are some hot cars right there.
For those of you who aren't familiar with New Bedford, we are a city of 100,000. And it is a vibrant, beautiful city. When you come in, you see all of the fishing boats in the harbor. We have a dike that goes across the harbor that a lot of other ports don't have. It's a unique place. It's a great place. Historic New Bedford, Massachusetts, that, by the way, Herman Melville took a liking to as well.
Right, we have a great whaling museum, one of the best whaling museums in the world. That celebrates that whaling history. And when you walk down the cobblestone streets, you can see in the background the fishing boats. The fishing boats create this great backdrop. Because we're number one, we're the home of Frederick Douglass. Have so many things to talk about. Home of Tavares, the great singing group that you talked about before. More Than a Woman. Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. Grammy Award winner. So a lot to be proud of. Again, if you're watching around the country, around the world, and you're planning a trip in the summertime, just come to New Bedford, Massachusetts, 1 hour south of Boston and about an hour, half an hour or so west of Cape Cod.
There are so many cultures and so much history that makes up New Bedford.
Sangha means community, and the New Bedford community makes me feel at home.
Esto es mi seaworthy New Bedford.
These are everywhere you turn in New Bedford.
This is my seaworthy New Bedford.
It's the people for me. People come into the bar and you never know what kind of stories you're gonna get. I just love what I do, and everybody around here makes it worth it. This is what makes New Bedford seaworthy.
All right, the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade, the 108th version, has come to an end, and what a vibe, what excitement.
But
it's been a pleasure.
The fun hasn't come to an end. That is ongoing. So join us here next year for the greatest parade of all, the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament in historic New Bedford, Massachusetts.
podcast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade has been brought to you in part by Explore New Bedford. Find what's seaworthy at explorenewbedford.org. By Milestone Mortgage Solutions, the official lender of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade. Justino's Madeira Wines. It's not easy making great wine. The 2024 Feast of the Blessed Sacrament and Sociable. Let's start trending socially.